Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Prestige. Welcome back to the channel. One of the most interesting things to think about are some of these franchises that have been around in my life for such a long time, and knowing that they're coming up on anniversaries. Pokemon, one of those major ones, just got its 20th anniversary a few days ago, and Resident Evil is no exception. Resident Evil is coming up on its 20th anniversary, and with that, Capcom announced that they're going to be re-releasing and remastering Resident Evil 6, 5, and 4. You're probably wondering why I said it in that order, and that's because that's the order they're going to be re-releasing in, which is honestly kind of strange, and it brings up a lot of questions that I want to ask you guys. Now, the gameplay going on in the background is the original Resident Evil. It is the remastered version that recently re-released actually, and it came bundled with Resident Evil 0. You can get it in physical disc form like I have, or you can get it digitally on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now, why is this such a big deal that Resident Evil is coming out again on the PS4 and the Xbox One? Well, first things first, it's cool that I'm going to be able to finally, finish and play Resident Evil 6 and 5. Those games weren't the best. Coming off of Resident Evil 4, which is probably a contender for one of the best games of all time, or if not one of the best Resident Evil games ever made. But more importantly, it's really interesting to see that Capcom is releasing them backwards. So Resident Evil 6 is going to be coming out in March of 2016. Then we'll see Resident Evil 5 release sometime in the summer, probably in June or July. And then finally, we're going to see Resident Evil 4 re-release in the fall, probably in October, right around Halloween, which would be the perfect release window for that specific game. And that raises a lot of questions. Why would Resident Evil 4 be left last? Is it because it is one of the most valued games in the Resident Evil series, or is it because they are planning something a lot bigger? Now, when I say a lot bigger, I mean actually remastering or recreating the game on a new engine, or recreating the game in basically just futuristic graphics. What we saw with the 360 remaster was pretty good, but it wasn't nothing to write home about. But this could be really big. They're taking a lot of time to work on one of the easier ports, which makes me think that they are putting a lot more effort into bringing those graphics up to par, kind of within range of what we've seen with the original PS1 remaster of Resident Evil. That could be really interesting, and that could completely change the game and its elements. Maybe they could be adding more content as well, which would be a very big fan service to anybody that loves that specific game. For those of you out there that are collectors as well, Capcom has announced that each one of these games will be available in physical form for the same price as the digital download, which means that you can get a physical copy of 6, 5, and 4, all for $20, which is really, really interesting and pretty much awesome if you ask me. I think that that's going to be a great way to bring in new players to this awesome series, an aging series. Like I said, it's going on its 20th anniversary, but I think that this is also a great way for Capcom to actually work out some of the issues that people had with some of these previous Resident Evil games before they finally delve into something much bigger, which I think will be a release of Resident Evil 7. Operation Raccoon City and all of those games that we've been getting really haven't been true sequels to Resident Evil, and I think that this is definitely their time to bring the series back into the limelight and potentially take that top dog spot again. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of really great survival horror games. One of the more recent ones that I can think of, The Evil Within, that was completely out of nowhere. That game was freaky, scary, had a really good variety of like just creatures that would come up to you, but just being able to go back to a game and say, wow, Resident Evil is great again, that would be nice. That would be nice to see. Just reboot the series, bring it in with Resident Evil 7, and tie together all those loose ends and everything that all of the fans would really like to see. Capcom definitely has the funds for it, and they can back a team of great people to make this game, but they've got to bring back the survival horror. They've got to stop all of this linear crap that we've seen. Now, I know that Resident Evil 4 was linear, but in its same sense, it still had a lot of exploring that you can do. And I think that that game, in its own, took the new movement and everything of the sort, the third person over the shoulder, and completely made it its bitch. And it can do that again with Resident Evil 7, but they got to go back to their roots and search for that survival horror. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you're psyched and if you're excited for Resident Evil 4, 5, or 6, leave a like down below. Leave a comment letting me know what you think about the Resident Evil series. And once again, guys, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. We're almost to 15,000 subscribers. Until tomorrow, I'll see ya. Peace.